Thanks for tuning in today. This is story number 5 of 7. Now, this is a personal story, but I think I should share it with you because I think it's apropos to a lot of people out there that might be experiencing some major pain in your life right now. And I want to take us back to when I was about 20 years old. I was emotionally a hot mess. Physically, I was a hot mess. Financially, I was a hot mess. We were in about $60,000 worth of credit card debt. No matter what I did, I just couldn't pay them down. We had our daughter, and there was some complications and medical bills and no medical insurance. You know how that goes. And I was literally working day to day as a server, trying to make as much tips as I could to, bring home the bacon per se, diapers, formula, things of that nature. And I wanted to be a responsible parent, right? So this was right around the time when cell phones had came out and pagers were already in place. And I couldn't afford a cell phone, and I figured, well, let me get a pager. That way I can be accessible. Something happens with my daughter, then I could be reached, whatever. And I went to Circuit City that day. And I was all excited. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm taking, this big step, as an adult now. I just had my kid, and I want to be responsible. I want to be accessible. And there was this huge wall full of all these pagers, and I picked one that was, relatively inexpensive. It was about $6 a month, but you had to qualify, right? Your credit worthiness was important. So I'm in line. There's a bunch of people behind me waiting to get their credit check, and I submit the paperwork. She puts in all the info, and then she looks up from the screen to my face, and she's like, Mr. Garcia, I'm sorry to inform you, but you don't qualify for the pager. I'm like, what do you mean I don't qualify for the pager? It's only $6 a month. She's like, I understand, but you don't qualify. Your credit is not good enough. And I was just like, really? And she's like, yes, really. And I remember feeling like dirt. I remember feeling like a useless bag of flesh. And it was a beautiful sunny day out. And I remember everything kind of was in slow motion, the sliding glass doors as I was exiting over to my car. And it was a crappy car. It was a 1984 Mazda RX-7. I had no AC. I had to literally drive around with a plastic binder out of the window to force air into the cabin in the summer months in Florida because it was just brutally hot. And I started crying. I just broke down emotionally. I felt useless. I felt like I had no business being a father. I felt like I was not even close to being a man. And I became very, very depressed. And I remember I had to stop 3 or 4 times getting to my house because I had so many tears in my eyes that I couldn't see. I get home, my wife sees me, crying at the time. And that was just a horrible experience. I remember saying, what am I doing with my life? It was an alarm. That event, that moment was an alarm that went off in my life to wake me up to say, Manny, you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You are on the wrong track. You need to do something immediately to fix it. So I spent the next few years seeking answers. I started doing a lot of personal development. I started finding people that had the right information that led me into the right direction. And then when the time came when I was able to get into sales, then I started changing my life little by little. I started increasing my income. I became very smart about my money. I made, good, solid investment decisions. And everything that I've done, I think, was fueled by that experience that I had when I ended up walking into Circuit City that day. So look, if you got some bad stuff happening in your life, right? If the relationship that you're in right now is just super toxic, or if the career choice that you chose is just not working out, and you got these emotional, painful alarms going off in your life, pay attention to that. And then start to ask yourself, how do you get out of that situation? How can you improve the situation? What do you need to do as a human being to change you first? Because real change in your life only comes when you start to change you first, when you start to improve whatever bad habits that you have. And that's when you'll see a major, turnaround in your life. So I hope that helps, guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this personal story with you. I'll see you tomorrow with story number 6. Ciao. See you later.
Yeah.